I learn better with pictures. So when talking about stress, I like to go to the brain because this is where the stress starts from. It's from our thinking, it's from our thought processes. And this is a picture of the brain, but the most important part that I'm talking about today is the limbic system, which is the emotional control center. And just to tell you just a little bit about the different parts of the limbic system will let us know what's going on in our minds. When we have stress, this is something that kind of disrupts us. The different parts, and I'll tell you what helps us. That's some of the oils. Okay, the different parts. The hypothalamus is the response to emotional circumstances. The amygdala is the fight or fear. The hippocampus is the memory forming, organizing, and storing. Okay, what happens is, and the pineal gland, which is a very important gland, which I like to talk about a lot because it is the gland of praise, prayer, and meditation. And it gives us a spiritual feeling, and I'll tell you what oils are for that. So what we do is we kind of internalize different things that happen to us, and we let them bother us, and it gives us a lot of the things that are harmful to our bodies. We get all kinds of diseases, and I have some things on there to show you some of the diseases and things that we get. And actually, it's from our bad thinking, it's from our not exercising, it's from our eating habits. Okay, for the stress, which I was asked to talk about, I brought the emotional control center mind medicine that I have put together. And to talk about that, the reason that we have these oils is because on the third day of creation, God made the plant kingdom. And in this plant kingdom, He gave us flowers. These flowers have their own blood, their own inner blood, and the essential oils are the blood of the plants. And we know that God gave us Jesus, and His blood cleanses our souls. And He gave us these oils, which helps to cleanse our minds. So we don't take the medicines that the Lord gave us like a pill or whatever. We take them as an inhalation. We smell these things, and it goes up into the olfactory bulb. The olfactory bulb is something that detects what the odors are and sends messages to the other glands to let them know what's happening. If it goes to the hippocampus that I was telling you about, is the memory gland, then it will say, okay, that smells like Grandma's apple pie. And you think back, oh, you can see Grandma back here making this pie. Or if you smell smoke, you say, it goes to the amygdala, the fight and fear. You say, oh, it's time to move. So then you move. Okay, and then sometimes when you have this anxiety and these different depressions and stresses, sometimes it's really nothing. And as a Christian, we shouldn't have all these anyway because God tells us not to. And I have scriptures to go along with this. But when we have these things, God has prepared these, what I call His aroma pharmacy. And it will, when you breathe it, it goes up into your nostrils, goes to the different areas. And here are the names of some of the oils that will help these different things. Okay, the pineal gland. This is a gland that people are trying to hamper people from knowing about because it helps us to think about God. It helps us to be more intelligent and all this. And actually the government is sometimes hampering this by giving us fluoride, chloride, all these different things, and those things will calcify your pineal gland. And when it's calcified, we are just kind of stagnant. We're not that interested in spiritual things. We're actually not that interested in too much of anything. And children, they don't learn very well. So we need to decalcify the pineal gland. And some of these oils will do that. Okay, these oils are many times in the Bible. Frankincense, you've all heard of frankincense. Okay, the sandalwood is the aloe in the Bible. Cedar wood, we heard of that in the Bible. Spikenard, that's what the ladies put on the feet of Jesus. Okay, they all have their own various things that they do. But this helps with the pineal gland. Okay, the thymus gland, closely associated with the immune system. It defends the body from potential deadly pathogens, bacteria, viruses, and fungi. And it has several hormones. Okay, the thieves' oil is the immune system oil. Okay, the thieves' oil is a blend of 5 oils. Back during the time of the bubonic plague, people were dying like flies. And there were some men who would go in and they would steal from the corpses and go into the contaminated houses and steal. Well, everybody else was dying. So they were caught. And when they were caught, the magistrate said, if you tell us what you used to be able to go in these contaminated houses, then we'll give you leniency. And it was several oils that they had put together that would kill the viruses and allow them to go in and take whatever they wanted. Actually, when you read the Bible, you look in Exodus, it tells you about oils that God told Moses to use in the tabernacle. And some of those oils are some of the same oils, and what they are microbial oils, which are oils that will kill microscopic germs and stuff. When you think about it, the priests were sacrificing lots of animals. All these people, you know, there were a lot of feces, all the animals, whatever. There was a lot of things that could bring in a lot of germs and so forth. So, in order to alleviate some of this, I have a film that I usually will show, but I wasn't going into all the aromatherapy. But you would see a cloud of smoke, like the incense of going up. Well, the tabernacle is in the middle. On each side are the different tribes. And this fragrance that would go up in the air could kill the germs that were surrounding the camp or so forth. So these were some of the same things that were put into this thieves recipe. And I make up my own thieves recipe when the bubonic, when the Ebola came out. I got a bunch of that and I gave some to all of my kids to try to make sure that they were all right. Okay, the hippocampus involves memory forming, organizing, and storing. Okay, rosemary, basil, and peppermint are good for that. I used to make that up for college kids and grade school kids, because if you take an oil and you smell it while you're studying, then when you go back to the classroom, if you have some on your collar or you have some on a cotton ball or something like that, and you smell it, it reminds you of what you studied. So the oils help with the memory. Okay, the amygdala, I told you about, you know, if there's fire or if there's smoke or whatever, it'll help you to, you smell it, the olfactory will send it to the amygdala and you say, oh, let me get out of here, because, you know, I smell smoke or whatever. Okay, then the hypothalamus responds to pain and thirst and anger and so forth, the nervous system and all that. These are some of the oils that will help with that: the vetiver, frankincense, bergamot, and geranium. Well, as a person that has worked with oils for a long time, I put together several of the oils, which I have here. And in this, you can pass it around. You can see the different things that these oils do. Okay, the oils that God gave us are so penetrated, so concentrated, until one drop of essential oil contains 40 million trillion molecules. That is 4 plus 19 zeros behind that. Our bodies have 100 trillion cells. So one drop of the essential oil will cover each one of our cells with 40,000 molecules. So this lets us know that we don't need that much of the essential oil. Just a little bit will go a long, long way. You think of going to some party and somebody yells, "Fire!" Well, everybody rush to the door, not too many will get out. And that's the same thing with the essential oils. If you put a whole lot of the oil on something that needs to be healed, then it's just like putting a bunch of glob or something like that. But if you put it in a small, minute type way, or even like with this, you could put something on a sore or whatever, then you'd add maybe a little more olive oil or a little more coconut oil just to smooth it out, to allow it to get in to take care of the problem. So that's what this formula is. And when you purchase this formula, it's a very expensive formula, but I'm selling it for $10 today. I want it 20 or 30 because of the oils in there, because oils are very expensive because it's so concentrated. But most of us of our race don't know that much about essential oils. We don't know what they can do or things like this. So this actually is for the mind, but the oils, as you will be able to see, will help a whole lot of different things. It can be put behind the ears, on the temples, between the forehead, on your pulses, on any sores or anything like that. And when you smell it, like I said, the inhalation is what helps, makes it go to your brain and helps you to be calm and soothes out the brain. So that's what the essential oils are. They're extremely good. They're something that you probably are not, that addressed with, but they're very good. Okay, another thing that I have here these are lavender. I'm sure you've heard of lavender. Okay, lavender is an essential oil that most people know about. Its power has powerful impact on you holistically. It takes a whole field of lavender will only make 12 pounds of lavender oil. A whole field. That's why these things are so expensive. Okay, the Egyptians, we're just now learning about this, but the people in ancient times knew about this long, long ago, and they used it a lot. And how we know is because of the hieroglyphics. That's those big columns and all the walls that have all these beautiful drawings and paintings on there. And they have a lot of things about the essential oils and all kinds of remedies and formulas. And there's a people called the Kemetics, and they refer to the essential oil, to lavender on the hieroglyphics. And the word Kemet means the land of the black faces. So our people knew about this long, long ago. The Roman soldiers used this to dress their wounds. And in the Victorian age, a lot of different things were made, and it's good to alleviate pain and so forth. And actually, in childbirth, you can use it for calming and things like that. We just used it for my great-grandson that was born. Actually, I have 9 great-grandchildren, and none of them have an extra spouse. They all of them are not supposed to be here, but they're here. So we love them anyway. Okay, this is the lavender soap, all natural. If you have any kind of problems with your skin, then the thing to do is go natural, all natural. These things, if it wasn't for the amount of lye that you have to put in it, you could eat it, But lye makes the soap. And if you have any kind of skin problems, the more natural it is, the better it is for your skin.
Did you make the soap?
Yes, and I'm going to have classes on how to make the soap. Actually, you can make a wonderful, beautiful soap with lard. And it's very good for your skin. Very inexpensive. I go inexpensive. And it's very good for your skin. Okay, this is something that is kind of come out for us new, but it's not really new. It's called diatomaceous earth. And it is a powder that comes from the fossils of aquatic things that are dead and have dried out and all this. It's very, very strong. It's a powder, but it's very, very strong. Actually, they say diamonds have the strength of 10, number 10, and the diatomaceous earth has the strength of number 8. So it's very abrasive, and you use it for a lot of things. Actually, you can take it internally because it goes into the intestines and scrapes it and gets the toxins out so that you can, eliminate this. My son Matt takes it every morning. Now, I started it, but I'm not, you're supposed to drink water and stuff after it. I'm not a very good water drinker. So it would constipate me, you know. I don't use it internally, but externally, it's good. Someone asked me about deodorant or whatever. It's good for deodorant. You can mix it with some essential oils or whatever. Use it as a deodorant. This is a powder for your teeth. What I've done is I've added the baking soda, some cinnamon, some cloves, some turmeric. Turmeric is excellent for your body, for your health and all that. Things like this, and put that in this, and it makes a wonderful tooth powder. And I put some peppermint and spearmint essential oils in here, which will give you a little tang or a little breath freshener and stuff like that. So when you use this, it looks like it's very, very tiny. Well, all you do is you take your toothbrush and stick it in there, just brush your teeth or whatever. You'll feel that your teeth are cleaner because this abrasion has kind of cleaned it up really, really good. And then with the peppermint and the cloves and the cinnamon and all this, you'll feel a little bit of freshness in your mouth. So that is what I have for that. Okay, now my books, important. Okay, my Old Testament book tells about the women of the Old Testament. It guides you through the Old Testament, covering diverse qualities of the women of that era, giving you a lot of knowledge on what has happened back then, things that you might want to do and things that you won't want to do. So that's the Old Testament. The stories are intriguing. Okay, there's one story where this woman leaves her husband. She ends up getting cut in 12 pieces and sent to the 12 tribes. So if you want to know about things like that, get the book. Okay. Now,
what not to do.
Okay, and the New Testament book, The Bliss of the Unseen, or The Joy of the Spirit Life. And it tells about the difference between living in Old Testament times where worship was according to different things that they did, manual things and so forth, until we get to the New Testament where the law of Christ deals with the unseen, with the mind, with the heart, and how we should have our attitudes and our emotions and all those things. The book teaches you to try to live at peace, the peace that passes understanding, and that's what we're trying to do today. We're trying to pamper ourselves, get our mind straight, our heart straight, so that we can be at peace. Since I'm going to, I might as well finish up with, let's see. Okay. Another way to cleanse yourself is, we talked about the limbic system, which is with the mind, and how it can be soothed with essential oils. Okay. Another part of our body that we need to work on is the lymphatic system. Okay. These are veins that go through our body. They are similar to the blood veins, but the heart pumps the blood and it goes through our body. There's no pump for the lymphatic system. What moves that is movement. Okay? Now, I say that because many of us don't exercise. And sometimes when we have problems, it may be because we haven't exercised. Actually, the Lord tells us to move, He tells us to work. Okay. When the lymphatic system becomes overly stressed, symptoms or signs can include cancer, chronic fatigue, swelling, muscle aches, joint pains, sore throats, infections, fibromyalgia, arthritis. All these things can occur because of our lack of action, our lack of movement. So there are different foods also that will help us to be able to have our bodies good. Without our bodies being good, we're no good to the Lord, you know. So we have to be good to the Lord, and He's given us all these natural things that we use, and that's why He created them, so that we can use these things to have our bodies well, so that we can serve Him. And I was telling you about the brushing. Before you take your bath, you might want to unclog your pores Now, I have this little brush. It's not quite what it's supposed to be, but a brush, it should be a light bristle brush, a natural bristle brush. And what you should do is remove your clothes and stand in the tub, because you're going to get rid of a lot of dry skin and cells and so forth. And then you use the brush and you brush. You always brush upward. You start with your feet, brush upward, 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 even your arms, brushing towards the heart. You have to brush towards the heart, never away from the heart. Here, you brush down, always towards the heart. Once you're all brushed, and do it several times so you can get the dry skin off of you, whatever. I've done it before with this brush, and it was all white in here because of all the dead skin that I had on there. And after you get that all loosened up, then you can take your shower, your pores are open, and you can really get your body detoxified. And go ahead.
How often do you do the dry brush then?
Oh, some people do it all the time, but I'm lazy, so you can do it like once a week or so. You would at least, get a lot of the toxins out of you. And if you're going to take that hydrogen peroxide bath, then you will really get the absorption that you might need from taking this. And it also helps to relieve your stress. And it helps to remove cellulite. Some of us that really need to lose some cellulite, it helps with that. It helps to stimulate your body and so forth. Gets rid of the dead skin and unclog the pores. So that's kind of what I have for you. If anybody would like to get any of the mood or the essential oils for it's been passed around. For the mind, I have a little pamphlet here that gives you the number of oils that are in it and what they do. So this is something you need to smell. You can take it and smell some of these things and see, especially if you have any kind of issues. You might want to carry something in your pocketbook, and if you feel a headache or any kind of stress or just feel bad. Sometimes we just have these feelings, We just put a little bit on. I rub it on my top so I can smell it sometimes. Okay, and I have some scriptures to help us to know what God says about stress. There are lots of scriptures. Mark 4:19 tells us not to worry, especially about materialism, because it makes us unfruitful. Okay? John tells us, don't let your heart be troubled. Trust in God and trust in Jesus. Proverbs 3:5, the one that we all should memorize, is to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. When we try to do it ourselves, we don't do a very good job. So He told us what to do. Yes. And that's what we need to do. Okay, Psalms 34:4, the Lord delivers us from our fears. Philippians 4:6 and 7, do not be anxious about anything. With prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, make your request to God, and the peace that passes understanding will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. I had a friend look up hearts and minds because I used to think heart and mind was the same thing. But I said, well, if it says and, it must be two different things. So I had him look it up in the Greek. And the heart means conscience. And the mind means thought processes. So if we guard our conscience and our thought processes, then we can have that peace that God has given us. That we can't understand and nobody else can understand. When you're a Christian, then God gives you that peace. People look at you kind of funny. Well, why are you, so happy, so joyous, so content? Because we have that peace that God has given us. Okay. Psalms 55:22. Cast all your cares upon Him because He cares for you. Okay. 1 Peter 4:12. Think it not strange concerning the fiery trials that is to try you, if some strange thing happened to you. Because it's not strange. Everybody has these problems, but you just have to work them out. Okay? When we have storms, we have to think about the story of Jesus in the boat. Everybody was afraid. Wake him up. Oh, don't you care that we're perishing? Sometimes we think, oh, we're just in such bad shape. But Jesus was there. And what did he say? Peace, be still. And that's what he says to us. We just be still and let him take care of the things. Okay? Bodily exercise profiteth little, but it does profit some. Yeah, I'm a witness to that. I go and exercise every day. You see, ladies? So, I feel great. I feel great. And I've known of some ladies that are maybe younger than myself that don't feel near as good. But I am just so grateful that the Lord has blessed me to get to the age where I can get silver sneakers, get free exercise, and I go and take advantage of it. And it makes me feel great. Okay, the last thing that I want to do is to read Isaiah 40:28 through 31. A friend of mine told me this would be the best thing to end up my message with. He told me not to say his name. Okay, Isaiah 40:28 through 31. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. So let's remember this, and let's memorize the verse in Proverbs 5:3-5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. If you're trusting in the Lord with all your heart, you don't have time to be anxious about anything, because you're going to give it to him. He's going to take care of it. Okay, that's all I have for you, ladies.
All right.
And the,
Okay,
thingy.
they're $5.
Okay.
They're $5. So the reason for the price